Hi, welcome to the Round 7 preview here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel as the Carlton Football Club are set to take on the Geelong Footy Club in the first of two regular season encounters. This one's at the MCG, Saturday, 4:35. It'll be the third week in a row that we play at this time slot, but it will be the first time we play at the MCG since the Tigers in round one. So that's exciting. Got a few games at Marvel out of the way. I don't mind Marvel, but there's nothing like the MCG. It's the soul of the game, and I don't know exactly where we play our best footy, but I know that you have to play your best footy at the MCG when it counts, because you can only win a premiership at the MCG. But look, a lot has to happen before we start talking about winning a grand final. The Blues are coming off a good win, maybe a great win last week, playing against the top team in the competition at the time, and a team that was very well known, and I guess still is, for the way in which they punish you off turnover. And I think it is one of the better preparations for Geelong this week, who now sit on top of the ladder, form team of the competition, healthy percentage, got themselves healthy as a footy club and as a group, and promises to be a great match. I mean, there's nothing but respect for Geelong. I think I would want Carlton to emulate something like what Geelong have done as a footy club long term. You know, that sustained period of success. Last year they had an off year, down year after they won the flag the year before. They were riddled with injury, maybe some motivation. I mean, we might talk with some of the Geelong supporters this week and find out a little bit more about that. But, I mean, they've looked pretty sharp. They're just a professional outfit. From what I've watched of Geelong, they do the fundamentals so well. They link up so well. They have a really good buy-in from the collective. Very rarely do you see selfish plays. Very selfless team. And that starts from the top. I mean, you've got superstars in Jeremy Cameron and even Tom Hawkins, but both of them look to get their teammates involved. And the one thing that I've always noted about Geelong is their ability to lower their eyes and hit up their leading forwards who lead at the football. And that's something that Carlton is still learning. I actually thought we took a step in the right direction in that area last week. We seemed to move the ball with a little bit more focus and purpose, particularly in the forward half. And if we can start to learn these leading patterns the way that Geelong do it, we're going to be a really, really hard team to stop. In terms of availability, from the Cats' point of view, they're going to be without Tom Stewart, which is a pretty significant out because he's a pretty significant player. I had a look at their injury list from what I saw. I mean, it hasn't updated yet at the time of filming this video, but Cam Guthrie's on there. Tom Stewart's going to be on there now. They're a relatively healthy team. For us, we've got, I think, 10 players who would be playing this week if they were available, in my view. But the test of it all is the list. The squad mentality is what it's all about right now. We've evolved from a team that, when you had 2 or 3 of your best 10 players out, we would struggle. We now see opportunities coming for the likes of, Lockie Cowan, Lewis Young, Jack Carroll, these types. We're still figuring out our forward line setup. It looked pretty potent last week when we got the third tall option there when De Koning went forward and was able to impact. But, yeah, we've still got some work to do. I look at this matchup and I think for what Carlton lack, Geelong have in the way in which they do the fundamentals really well, and they move the ball pretty efficiently. However, what Geelong lack that Carlton have is the energy in the game, in the stadium. It's not to say that the Geelong supporters don't barrack for their team, but Carlton fans at a stadium, it's almost unrivaled. I think Collingwood probably have it. Maybe the Tigers when they're up and about, but we are seemingly just entering this phase of our experience with the club where we go to games now. I'm not sure if this applies to you watching, but I mean, I go to every game now knowing we can win. Don't know if we're going to win this week. I hope we do, but I know that we can, no matter who we play. It was only 2 years ago maybe 3, where we were saying, oh, you're coming up against a top 4 team. Oh, if only we can get within 4 or 5 goals of them, we'll show progress. Whereas now we are playing at the MCG in top 4 clashes against top 4 teams, and we're a big chance to win. Like, we can win this week just as equally as what we could lose. We could win, and that is not lost on me. It's relatively new. It's the beginning of this era, and it's happening right now. Like, we have put ourselves into this spot where we watch the group now, knowing they are capable of matching it with any side in the competition. We no longer talk about can they, it's will they, and that's the question this week. Will we beat Geelong? Not can we, because we can. Our midfield looks to be a little bit better performing over the last few weeks. We've gone through some areas where we were inefficient. And to be fair, we come off 28 scoring shots against the Crows, 14-14. Then we generate 32 scoring shots against the Giants, 17 goals, 15. Geelong do a really good job of limiting scores to their opponents. I don't know if that's going to be the case this week. I think we have what it takes to generate 20 to 23 scoring shots this week. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. I think this will become quite an open game, not dissimilar to what we saw last year, which was an awesome game, bit of a shootout. We saw Charlie Curnow and Jeremy Cameron kick 6 and 7 or 5 and 6 respectively. I get the sense it's going to be one of those games, and the MCG sort of opens the game up. It's a real spirited affair. The weather's going to be nice and cold. You're going to have to rug up. And I am hoping for an electric atmosphere. And I think if we can generate enough energy collectively on the field, off the field with the fans, I think it'll make it tough for Geelong. And we're going to have to. So I just think this is a clash of titans for 2024. I think early days we are proving ourselves as one of the better teams in the better half of the competition. Geelong undoubtedly are doing the same. And I'm pretty excited. I mean, this is what we wanted. This is everything we wanted, just to be in contention, playing in these big games against big clubs and being relevant. And the challenge is, externally, we're being talked about really highly, held in high regards, on the top of people's power rankings and all of that. And so the challenge is, we've been for so long a team with question marks and fear and seeds of doubt placed around us. So to be able to respond to that is pretty easy. It's pretty not easy. It's easier to respond to someone who doubts you as opposed to live up to someone who's talking you up. And so our challenge is to just stay the course. When the discourse around us is negative, you can use it as motivation. When the discourse around you is positive, can you keep level-headed? Sometimes criticism's worth more than compliments. In fact, I would say most of the time, criticism's worth more than compliments because it allows you to generate some feeling. So this is a test of us and our ability to stay level-headed, knowing that everyone's behind us now. Everyone's backing us in, and it'll come in swings and roundabouts. We'll lose at some point over the next period of time, and the doubt will creep in. The seeds of doubt will start being thrown at us again, and it's just a cycle. But we've just got to get through unscathed and get the job done. And you just set the year up so well. We're sitting at 5-1 and playing. I would say we're playing okay to good football. I think we're generating more chances than what we've seen with this group, and we're putting ourselves in the best position. Still so much to tidy up. There's something around the drop of the ball in our forward line which isn't quite there yet. It's not at its best. And I think when we're at our best, we're locking that ball in our forward half more times than not. With that, is that an individual thing? Is it because of the players that are not playing? I don't think so. I think it's our ability to just have our positioning in the right place, which might mean some time, a bit more cohesion. So we'll see what happens. I don't have an update on the injury list at the time of filming this, but I'm hoping that we don't get any more. I'm hoping Zach Williams is okay from what I've read online and what I've heard on the Channel 7 update with Mitch Cleary. It's that he pulled up okay and should be okay this week, provided he gets through. So that's a big positive. Jacob Wiedering, obviously a really, really solid corky last week, but you would think that he'd be able to get up for this game. And we'll definitely need him coming up against Hawkins and Cameron. And then I don't know if we get any of the boys back that are on the injury list. McGovern and Chera in particular were 1 to 2 weeks. That was from the 16th, the update on the 16th of April. So are they borderline? I hope so. I hope we can get one of them back or two of them back. Fogarty's one I would love to know when he's going to be back, because I think he is a particular individual who can really help with, locking that ball in the forward half. He does it really well. So, yeah, but we will see. At the end of the day, I don't really care who is named. I would like to have our better players and first choice players playing, but I really am enjoying watching the next layer of the list, perform a role. And sometimes when you have everyone available, we have a pretty, when you look at the list, if everyone is available, we have a pretty star-studded list. Let's be honest. So it's hard to get them to, play lesser than what they're capable of, because that they could really stuff the stat sheet. So it can be a little bit easier when you have certain guys who aren't as prolific when it comes to their stardom or their name, and locking them in on a role. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. I think our defense, I understand that it's been a little bit, it's changed because of the injuries over the last few weeks. I don't think we've gotten it right just yet. I think our midfield just is starting to click. I think with Pito in there, it gives us our identity back, particularly around stoppages. And I think the midfielders obviously love playing with him. Obviously, it helps when Tom de Koning goes forward and becomes an impactful player. And then our forward line, we've got the two big boys there. They're pretty, let's be honest, they're pretty good. And, it's pretty potent. But I still feel like they're not playing at their optimal, which is crazy. We're 5-1. I still feel like there's 30% more that we could be doing with this team. And, when we're at our best, that's how far away I think we are. So who knows? Hopefully it comes together this week. Otherwise, the Cats are a great team. So it's not one of those games where if we lose it, it all depends on how we play, obviously. But this is a coin flip for me. Yeah, they're that good, the Geelong Footy Club. They are that good, and they're pretty healthy. And so I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping we can get like 70,000 there. Can you imagine? Get a 7 in front of the attendance number. That'd be unreal. I've been to Geelong games before at the MCG, and we get, 55, 60, 62. This is a Geelong home game, so I'm going to assume that they're on top of the ladder playing against Carlton. They're going to want to be there for the game on Saturday afternoon. It's a nice time slot. But yeah, there's nothing like the energy at the MCG in particular when Carlton are playing. So yeah, see how we go. What about you? How do you feel ahead of this matchup? What are your thoughts on Geelong? What have you watched of Geelong that you think we need to be mindful of? And likewise for us, where do you think we can beat Geelong? Let's chat about it in the comments. Go from there. Go Blues.